Good evening. It is January 17th, 7:10 p.m. I want to talk about this course 62651, and I'll use this opportunity, this office hours, I'll make a recording just to introduce myself and to talk about the course and where my brain is, what I'm thinking, and where we're going to go with this. 62651 is the second course in a series, starting a course with 62650. It has evolved a little bit over time because it has evolved to where essentially everybody that I have in this class, there's about a dozen of you, are all counselor ed people. So it allows me to tailor this class specifically, hopefully, for what you all need as you work through your practicum in your counselor ed program this semester. I have my overarching concept is to help you with teaching strategies, to help two things, to help you better understand what the classroom teachers are doing, why they're doing it, and how to assist them, and to help you when you do large group instruction and to give you strategies that you can do in that case. We take several concepts and put them all together. One concept is the model of teaching that you worked with in 61650. We will talk about that. The 9 teaching standards that the classroom teachers that you will collaborate with will be using, and the counselor standards. And so we mesh all those 3 things together. You will be creating videos of you teaching students, meshing all those concepts together. This class is a little bit messy because it's a practicum-based class, and most of you, as I've been asking, most of you have a practicum experience this spring, so you'll have access to kids. Now, as far as making videos, videos of you teaching, it will depend on the local policies and what your local principal lets you do. I have no horsepower with that. It is for professional development only. Most schools have policies in place to permit that. So just talk with the principal about that. Really, if most schools have a policy that parents opt out as opposed to opting into videos, but just talking and basically what I'm going to ask you to do is to create, among other things, but have conversations. Okay, I'm going to share screen and go into the course site just a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. But give you specific prompts, ask you to put yourself in a teaching situation. Most people just take their laptop and turn around, point it at the kids and let it go. Then you can edit it as you need to. If any students or their parents don't want the student to be recorded, they just set to the side during that 8 to 10 minutes that you're making the video. We work our way through this. And I understand that it's a little bit different, but especially now that we have COVID, I can't come watch you teach in the classroom like I used to years ago. So this is what we're trying to do to keep this going. So my goal is that you will gain practical teaching strategies that you can have in your back pocket to flow through this semester. So I'm going to share screen here and talk my way through the course here so you can see what we're going to do. So here's a routine course overview of information, that kind of stuff. Okay, you've seen all that before. And a lot of the stuff is not visible yet. And that's because I open modules kind of as we go and as we get into the conversations. So we are, and I know there's some confusion or discussion as to whether we should meet on a Tuesday night or Wednesday night, and it doesn't matter a lot to me one way or the other. So we are going to meet on January 17th, If we decide that another night works best, then we can shift. It's not a big deal to me either way. I want this class to fit what you need. It's very much driven by you all in that way. So I'm going to ask you to, and most of you, or a lot of you, as I look, you've already started this video here. This is the lesson plan for January 19. It was visible. I've non-published it as I amend it some more. Then we'll have some type of threaded discussion feedback from session 1. I usually build that a little bit based off the questions that we have from the first night. Then we're going to get down in here. There are 4, what we used to call the final 4 teaching standards that we work with. Teaching standard 1, which is dealing with content knowledge aligned with appropriate instruction. We will talk a lot about student engagement with that one. Then standard 2, student learning, growth, and development. Talk a lot about differentiated instruction, or how do you reach every single student that you have in front of you. It fits well with your world of counselors. Teaching standard 5, talking about the tone, the behavior, the culture, the atmosphere of classrooms, classroom management when you're working a large group instruction. We will talk about that. And then standard 7, dealing with assessment in a classroom setting. So those are, we tend to call those the final 4. Some people think that those maybe are some of the most 4 crucial teaching standards that teachers work with. And hopefully I will help you learn some of the same languages that the teachers that you work with will be using. And these are the teaching standards that principals use to evaluate teachers. So I think this process should help you. Now, it is true that I tend to make this class a little bit messy, like I said, because I want to be very, very relevant to what you're going to do. I've had a couple people that really wanted me to say, tell us exactly what you want us to do, exactly when you want us to do it. And I can, but each class spends a little bit, for each Zoom session spends a little bit one to the next, which is why I don't have them all open quite yet. But the assignments, and I opened them up this evening here. I want you to interview classroom teachers and principals about teaching standard 1. And this is heavily, I have some questions here. It's heavily about student engagement. And so you interview both of them and you put it into the thread discussion. This is not difficult. And then you post to at least 2 of your classmates. So that's what we're going to do. We're zeroing in on teaching standard number 1 first. So again, we're going to meet next Tuesday. And then after that, so I was talking about February 2 interviews. February 9 is where I'm going to ask you to upload a video of you teaching. Communicate with me if the wheels come off with that. How I tend to do it, what I will do with this video I'm making right now, I'll dump it up into YouTube, and then I'll just place the link back in the course site. Then for our second session, which at the moment is set February 9, I am aware that we might shift that if we collectively decide to do that. It gets kind of messy when I asked 12 people about what works best. But I'm also told that by me going on Tuesdays, I'm probably stepping on some of your other classes. So we'll work our way through that. So on the second time we meet on February 9, I will talk more about this Tuesday night. We're going to talk about your videos and your interviews and the meshing of the models you had last semester crosswalked with teaching standard 1 and the counselor standards. And then I know a lot of you worked in groups last semester. And so we need to put groups together where you will have a part of next class on February 9 at the moment, where you will share screen and you'll talk us through that, and you will dump that information into a PowerPoint um, as a way to drive that conversation. So we'll be talking about teaching standard 1, heavily again student engagement. That was one. I was a principal for 19 years. And I learned when I went into a classroom to watch a teacher teach. I was in and out of classrooms all day long. But when I would do an official observation, I learned to try real hard to put my back to the teacher. I didn't really care what the teacher was saying or what the teacher was doing. I was really watching the students. And I learned that, and we all know there are teachers that are up there talking and talking, and the kids are doing what the kids are going to do. And so a lot of times I would actually be doing tally marks as to 10 minutes in, 20 minutes in, that kind of stuff. At 10 minutes in, I just do a hash mark, a tally of the students are actively engaged in the lesson. And I'd look at their eyes. I would talk to the kids. Because we know that engaged students are learning, they're less likely to misbehave. And it's just easier teaching when the teachers are engaged, when the students are engaged. I talk a lot about a couple of researchers. One is Harry Wong, W-O-N-G, and Harry Wong he talks a lot about routines and procedures. And I talk a lot about Spencer Kagan, Kagan student engagement strategies. And so we talk about those. So I like seeing students on their feet and moving around and talking to each other. I tell my undergrad students that anytime you can set up situations where students are talking to students about the information, that it's almost always a version of higher ordered learning. So when I teach a class to undergrads, I try real hard to set up situations where students are talking to students. Now I am aware that schools are in lockdown and everything is virtual. It gets kind of weird. That's when I work real hard. If I'm doing a class that's completely through Zoom, I do breakout sessions. I create situations for students to collaborate in the breakout room and then report back out. I do jigsaw activities where I have a reading and each breakout group is given a piece of that reading to become an expert on that. And then I reshuffle them where they have to talk to each other about the bit that they have done. So there are strategies that we can do in the Zoom world or whatever electronic world you use. There are strategies that you can use to increase student engagement. So again, I told you I was a principal for 19 years. Most of my family are educators. My grandmother, my dad's retired superintendent. My mother was a third grade teacher. My aunt was a teacher. My oldest brother, retired superintendent. His wife was a teacher. My other older brother was a teacher. My cousin, my wife was a special education teacher for 26 years. Our daughter is a second grade teacher. My cousin. So that's kind of who we are. So I was a principal for a couple of years in Paris, Missouri. I was a middle school principal in Savannah, Missouri for 1 year. And then I went to Hannibal. I was assistant principal. This is Hannibal behind me, Hannibal High School behind me. My office was right back there for 6 years. And I was assistant principal at that big high school there. Then I went to Warrensburg. And I was an administrator in Warrensburg. I was a principal at Warrensburg High School. And then I directed their Career and Tech Center for a couple of years. Then I went to DESE for 3 years. And now I'm in my 10th year at Northwest Missouri State. At the time I was working on my specialist degree at Mizzou, a course that all of us had to take was a course by Norm Geisbers. So I have 3 hours of comprehensive guidance curriculum, of course, a zillion years ago, but it has helped me. It has helped me understand little bit better, the role of the comprehensive guidance curriculum, a little bit more about the role that counselors do. And so I think that has helped me realize that what we try to do in this class can be specialized to what you all need to do. And I know you all are learning to be counselors, but I also know you do a small and large group instruction. And I also know you'll be asked to do non-guidance activities but in small schools, we all do that. I did non-principal activities all the time. So just to reiterate, basically we're taking several concepts and mixed them all together, smushed them all together, and it should be interesting. And it tends to be interesting because we have some really good conversations. So I'm up on campus generally on Tuesdays and Thursdays. My cell phone number is in the Canvas site. I tend to work on it more. You can text me. You can call me, of course. I do email a little bit better. I'm relatively hard to catch on my office phone because with the way the campus is, that we're not in the office any more than we have to be right now. And I primarily teach graduate classes, primarily in the school leadership role, training people to be principals. But I also have on Thursday afternoons this semester, I have an undergraduate class of secondary students that are within a semester or two of student teaching. So I have a lot of the same conversations. As a former kind of nuts and bolts principal, I talk a lot about routines, procedures, classroom management. I don't talk about discipline. I figure if you're disciplining a kid, they're past you. I talk a lot about setting the tone where good instruction takes place. So in my mind, a counselor helps everybody set a good tone, a good instructional tone, where good learning can take place, and also serve as a soft place for the kids. Okay, so contact me if you have any questions. And again, we'll be flexible as to when we have our synchronous Zoom meetings. I didn't mean to cause anybody stress as to what night they are. And there's nothing saying they're all on a Wednesday. There's nothing saying they're all on a Tuesday. We have a lot of flexibility with this because it's just us. It's just us and this class right here. And we have a lot of flexibility. You will see that what we do, I've strayed a lot from the original course description because having just everybody in class that's exactly in the same boat gives us a lot of latitude. Okay, so I will put this video in the Canvas site and contact me if you have any questions. I'm going to stop share and I'll stop recording. Okay, have a good evening.